So, Chris will be along momentarily. So, what we're going to talk about today is going to be how do we handle poorly behaved dogs? Let's leave it at that. Okay. So, um, and what prompted this conversation for today is Angie managed to schedule three of her naughty dogs in one day. Three. Right. And I know people have different ways of doing things. I mean, some when I back when I worked in the shop, I actually wanted all of my naughty dogs to come in at the same on the same day because then you know what, I got them all over with. However, when I went mobile, that was a different story. I did not want to do a day full of just naughty dogs when I was mobile. That was a maximum of like one dog per day. That was it.
I
So
did, however,
how did that happen?
okay. So in our program, at the top, we have a little indicator that it's dog day, cat day, bunny day. So dog day is blue, cat day is pink, bunny day is green. And if there's a naughty dog, one of the naughty dogs, and I only have 5. All of these dogs, I've groomed them all since they were puppies. And there's like a screw loose in there because from their first groom at 8 weeks old, they were scary, like scary. You pick the little teeny bitty itty bitty thing up and it's fanging and growling, and you're just like, what? You're like a pound and a half. What? And these are all small little haircut dogs, of course. So, what you're supposed to do when you schedule that dog is you're supposed to turn that top bar red. That means aggressive dog that day. However, I didn't do that. I didn't. Nope, I didn't do that because I was in a rush and I was like, I'll do that later. I didn't do that. And then one of my assistants scheduled the next naughty dog, and she was checking it out, and my client scheduled for the year. So she scheduled the dog out for the year, and she forgot to do that. Just for this one day. For this one day. And then my other assistant scheduled the third dog, and she did turn it red. So I was like, oh, who's the naughty dog I have? Oh, sweet. Oh, my God. No. Because they're very mentally taxing. Because the entire time you're grooming them, they're smashing the muzzle into your hands and smashing the muzzle and trying to get you in the face. And it's enough to make you vomit because my shears are unbelievably sharp and I don't want to hurt them. There she is. And so doing 3 in a day is it's like a nightmare day. It did, however, finish my last dog of the day. I did have some wonderful dogs. My last dog of the day is a Yorkie I have groomed his whole life. And he is the sweetest, kindest, most mellow little man. And he was just like, he kept kissing me. And he's not normally that kissy. And I'm just like, buddy, you get it. You understand. It's been a very bad day.
He sensed your heartache.
He did. He was just like every second, every time I looked at him, he was like, I kiss you. I kiss you, Ange. I make you feel better.
Oh,
Right. So back when I worked shop, and then I would schedule, if I could, all of those naughty dogs in one day because I had somebody there who knew how to hold the dogs so that I could actually groom them. So it was kind of picked on a day that they were there. You know what? So this way, you know what? Guess what? You're spending the day in the grooming shop with us. Forget the fish. Fish don't need you. I need you. But when I went mobile, that wasn't an option. And I found it wasn't that I was getting very many naughty little dogs because it was a whole hourly rate. So the prices for a naughty small dog could be triple what they were paying in a shop. So I wasn't getting a lot of those. All right. However, the naughtier dogs, the big dogs,
Big
I don't know,
dogs.
like the Rotties, all right, who really don't, if they're well behaved, don't actually take very long to groom. Right? And so if you're just like simply doubling the price for them, they're like, okay, whatever. So I had more of the naughtier big dogs, and we're not doing more than one of those a day.
Your body can't take it.
And then there are times when you don't know, like what happened to me today and why I'm late. Now, my
I'm
last
going to give
appointment.
Chris a T-shirt, and it's going to say, "Ask me why I'm late."
Well, you know what? If you'd have checked your voicemail, you would have known.
Oh yeah, I did, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm going to get you a T-shirt.
Ask me why I'm late.
Ask
There
me
will
why I'm late.
there will be a decent reason T-shirt that I want to get for my husband that says, sorry I'm late. I didn't want to come. Or something like that. Like I didn't want to come anyway. It's the shirt for introverts. Like, yeah, just be glad I'm here. But
I've seen
that's
that.
not it.
Sorry, I'm late. I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here. Yes, that's yeah. So I knew my last dog of the day was naughty, but she was always manageable naughty. Like I knew it, but she's getting older now. So her naughty is kind of ratcheting up and moving into places like I couldn't really dry her today. Normally I could dry her, no problem with the full. It almost went into a 2-part groom. And I would have been on time then, but I went, you know what? She calmed down. She didn't go into a dryer Caesar. She was just having a fit. And, she's 14 and bony. I'm like, let me just turn it way down. And that she tolerated. So I'm like, okay, that she's tolerating. But the dog before her was new that I got talked into taking because she's this, she's that, they want a house call groomer specifically and all this other stuff, heart murmur, whatever. So I get there and I'm pleasantly surprised that the dog doesn't look in bad shape. The dog was actually groomed like 2 months ago. So, however, then they start going down the list of issues. Some kind of surgery. And ever since the surgery, they've been having, and this dog is 15, 16. Ever since the surgery has been having problems and chronic ear infections. If a tiny drop of water gets in the ears get infected. And last time at the mobile van, she got pneumonia. So the vet was like, I don't know, she can't be around other dogs. She can't this. Oh, and you can't put anything around her neck.
Okay, let's count the red flags.
Thank God I had the trach saver with me. Not all of those popped up until I was physically up the second story walk up. House call. Lugging my stuff. Second floor walk up. It wasn't until I was up at the second floor then the multiple flags started popping up.
Sorry, Chris. When she would have gotten to the fourth red flag, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm probably not the groomer for you. I'm going to haul all my crap down 2 flights of stairs. Thank you.
And here's the shampoo we always use because everything else seems to bother him.
Let me guess. It was Hearts.
It wasn't. I forget what it was. It didn't look. It didn't look crappy. It looked
Okay.
me. I mean, I read the ingredient list. It had ingredient listed. The only thing was it had like dyes and fragrance in it. So I'm like, I don't know how this works. Whatever.
All right. So, all right. Let's pull this into. What
But
do you
that
do?
dog
Go ahead.
let me do his nails. I
Okay.
just had to have the dryer on very low for him to tolerate. But sorry, Mary, go ahead.
All right. So what happens when you decide you've taken the dog in and now you're like, screw this. I'm not grooming this dog. I'm just really sorry. All right. And I've had back in the very, very beginning, before, and like to say before I knew better. All right. And, I let that client come in the van because she had all those bad experiences with other groomers. And there's always this issue and that issue. And I'm thinking, yeah, I've got like the rose-colored glasses on, and I'm like, yeah, I can solve all your problems because I'm probably way better than all those other people. Oh my God. About 15 minutes into the groom, I looked at her and I'm like, you know what? No charge. I just need you and your dog to leave.
Go away. No charge. Just go away.
Just go away. And please do not ever call me again.
And
Don't go away mad.
Just go away. And we laugh. And I know people watching this are laughing too. But that's because we all have thought the exact same fucking thing. Exactly. We've been there. We've like, we've had a full of ourselves moment. We've had 10 minutes into the dog. You're like, I want to die.
See,
Why
never
does
happened
this
with a
dog
dog.
hate me?
Never happened with a dog for me, but it's happened with a cat. It's happened with a cat. Twice.
The one time it happened like that with a cat, I wasn't even the one grooming it.
All right. So before we went live, Angie was making mention of two Rotties. All right. But I'm going to tell you my Cleo story first. My husband thought I was insane for grooming this dog. All right. Cleo was this big Rottweiler. And prior to the groom, Cleo was my best friend. And after the groom, she was my best friend. But during the groom, she went from being Cleo to Sybil. And for those who don't get the reference,
did she give you that? You said Roddy. Did she give you that fisheye?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, she was mother. In fact, before I got her into the van, while she was still my best friend outside of the van, we put the basket muzzle on her. Then we got her in. The son got her, helped me get her into the tub, washed and dried her in the tub. The son came back, helped me get it out of the tub. And then afterwards, she was like good as gold. I still like to refer that to my younger, dumber days.
Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, I also
tell the story.
What was that?
Do you want me to tell the story?
Oh, please do.
Which story is this?
So this is probably at least 20 years ago, maybe even 25 years ago. So I was at a salon and this woman called.
Who's going to do sound effects?
Okay, good. We're going to need them, Pooh. So this woman called up and she said, I wanted to make an appointment for my two Rotties. They're just like golden retrievers. They're great. And I said, okay, because I groomed a Rottie like every month and his name was Caesar and he was a doll. I mean, this was like the best dog. Caesar would do anything for you. He was, oh yes, I do all the things. And so I was like, yeah, awesome, great. Got her day. She comes. Now we have an outdoor kennel beside the back salon door. And instead of bringing the dogs in, she put them in the outdoor kennel. Hmm? So I'm like, well, I look over the hat door. I'm like, where are the dogs? She said, they're in the outdoor kennel. Why? Why did you not bring them in? Oh, well, because, I just figured they might have to go. So I'm like, why didn't you just walk the dogs? There's like a really long, nice dog walk area, big grass. So, okay, whatever. Got all the information. Great. Okay. Now, this was before the days of intake.
Oh.
So I get the tub ready. Now, there's no ramp to this tub. These Roddies weigh about 150, 175. Now it is a chest high tub. I'm short. Chest high tub for me is here. It's above my boobs. So a big dog, very high tub. All right, so I go out and the dogs are Vengeance and Asmodine. So I grab Asmodine.
I'm sorry, those are red flag names.
You think?
Those are red flag names because I mean, like, there is the 2% chance that they are like spun sugar,
Ironic.
or that they're ironic, but yeah.
Yeah, no. So I grab Asmodine, I put him on a slip lead, I walk him in, and so we have stairs to the tub. And he's like, yeah, no. And I'm like, okay, this was 25 years ago. So I was, just picked him up, put him in the tub. Because duh. And, you're immortal at that age. It's probably what, 24, 25, somewhere in there. So I get him in the tub and I'm looking at the dog and he's just looking at me. And I'm like, can someone throw me a muzzle in size 6?
No.
So I get the basket muzzle. I put it on the dog. And I'm like, okay, it got the snap that goes over the top. All right, it's secure. Good. Cool. I go to reach for the hose. And he jumps up onto my shoulders, puts his head, laces them around the back of my neck. He's digging into the back of my neck. He is smashing me in the top of the head with the muzzle while he's growling and snarling and snapping. Well, here's the problem with that. My hand only goes up this high. So I can hold his paw, but I can't lift it up because my arm doesn't do that. This is the one that was ripped off by the garbage truck. It doesn't go anywhere. I can't get him off me. I can get this paw off, but when I let go of this one to get this one off, he puts the other one back on. So another groomer came over. She peels him off me, and he's like, my head is now bleeding from the impact force of him smashing into my head. So she puts him back in the tub, and I turn to my boss and say, what do I do now? And she's like, bathe the dog, stupid.
Did I mention that I really want to run into your former boss in a dark alley? Or a well-lit alley? Or Main Street?
So the other groomer I worked with looked at her. Now she's her boss too. Looked at her, reached in the tub, grabbed the dog, carried it outside, put it back in the outdoor kennel, pulled the muzzle off, shut the door, and went, oh, I didn't hear you.
I like her.
And she was like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't.
I like her.
So then it gets worse. So I call the owner and I'm like, no, not doing this. Come get your dogs. Yeah. They have explosive diarrhea all over the outdoor kennel and dance around in it. And I go over with the hose to like clean it up. And they're like,
lunging.
Yeah, at the chain link.
At the chain link and trying to bust through the chain link to
get
kill
me.
And
I'm just like, what do I do? So the other groomer comes out and she's just like, just let it go. Just let it go. She's like, you're never gonna just let it go. She's like, because they're gonna come through that chain link and they're going to eat you, and then I'm gonna have to explain what happened to you. And I'm just like, okay,
I
so she
think
comes. They're covered in poop. I mean,
yes,
covered in poop.
so happy.
Yeah, I'm like, seriously.
I am. There is actual joy in me because this is a horrific story that is very traumatizing, and I ache for you. But the nasty, mean part of me is like the instant karma of the shit all over the inside of this woman's car. Tell me they didn't have a pickup that they loaded the dogs in the bed of, because I want diarrhea in upholstery.
It was an Escalade. It was an Escalade. It was like the brand they had just made the Cadillac SUV. It like just came out. If it wasn't an Escalade, it was another one of those like crazy expensive, like holy crap, that's as much as my house kind of cars. And oh no, she was like, they're covered in feces. And I was like, yes, they had explosive diarrhea all over the place. And she's like, aren't you going to do something about that? And I was like, I tried, and they tried to kill me. There's nothing I can do. And she said, I highly doubt that. So I went over, I turned the hose on, and sure enough, the two of them were like, I kill you. So I'm like, mm-hmm. And she's like, well, never mind then. And I'm like, have a nice day. She took them, and I ran inside and shut the door because I was a big chicken. I didn't want to get eaten. And so I'm watching her out the door, and the dogs were like, oh, hi, Mom. I'm just covered in poop. And she put them in her car, and off she went. Thank God. This
Thinking
is
she could have turned the hose on her own dogs, right?
Huh?
She could have turned the hose on her own dogs.
She didn't though. It was right. I left it right there because she was going to open that door, and I was like, "I'm out of here." And she didn't. She didn't do any of that. She just took them in the car. And yeah, thank God this is before social media, because that would have been so bad.
I am
Actual
deceased,
poop show.
and I have to admit, I part of me feels a little bad at losing my shit and laughing so hard I snorted at a story that started with you getting the crap beat out of you by the dog and literally bleeding, because it started really scary. If you'd have told me that, I would have died from laughing by the end of it. I would not have believed you. Oh my
But
God.
it turned out okay in the end. I mean, I didn't have to groom them, and so that was good. And but yeah, there was poop everywhere. It was so bad.
You know, it's
So bad.
it's why later on in my career I had come up with, the questions that I need to ask people before they make appointments. All right. So one of the questions was, has your dog ever bitten anybody? And I'm saying, you know what, I've got a form I need you to sign. Okay. So they're putting a signature to it. Has your dog ever bitten anyone? Yes, no. Under what circumstances? Okay. Has your dog ever tried to bite somebody? Yes, no. All right. And then the other question on that was, has your dog ever tried to bite a groomer? Because, okay, there is a segment of the population that seems to believe that it is our job to get bit.
I had a customer tell me that to my fucking face, looking me in the eyeballs as I was checking the dog in, and I was explaining the price range, because we usually gave about a $20 price range that they signed for. I said, or if we get bit or, something. Well, isn't that your job? I went, to get bit? Yes. Like, No. And he was dead. Serious.
Yeah. This finger that will never be straight ever again. When I asked the woman, does your dog bite? We didn't have any forms at the salon that I was at. Does your dog bite? No. And I'm looking at that dog, and the dog's going, yeah, I do. I could totally get an area too. But she said, I don't want the dog muzzled. I didn't make the rules in that salon. Dog doesn't get muzzled if the owner doesn't want to muzzle. Okay. I went like this, and I touched his front leg. I didn't even pick it up yet. And he bit this finger, broke it, dislocated it. It was pointing like sideways. Chainsawed up my arm. Chomp, 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 chomp.
What kind of dog was this?
Pitbull. And so I'm standing there and I'm just bleeding everywhere. Like everywhere. And I looked up and I said, I thought you said your dog didn't bite. And she's like, oh, the other groomer was faster. So I was pretty irritated at that point. So I took my sideways finger and went and snapped it back into place. She gagged. I was pretty sure she was going to throw up. And I was like, have a nice day. She's like, you're not going to do the nails? And I'm like, no.
No, I'm going to drive to the ER, you literal pile of human trash.
I actually couldn't. I had 7 dogs I had to finish before I could do that. So I did that. I finished the 7 dogs and then I went to the ER. And that might be why it is permanently.
Maybe. Was this still with the other boss? With that boss?
Same boss. Same boss. Yeah.
And is this person still running a grooming shop?
Yep.
You can tell we're going to have a conversation when we're off air.
I'm going to need names.
Karma is its own reward.
Yes.
Truly. Best revenge is living a successful life.
Yes.
And
No.
My salon is freaking amazing. And people love us. And that's all I really need.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. However, there are ways to interpret the phrase, and it harm none. No, I am not going to physically do anything to this person. Since this isn't being recorded in Facebook land, I would never do such a thing.
Truly, life has a way of working itself out.
Okay, so then let's say on that note, we are on our half hour. If somebody has a topic we would like to discuss for next week, let us know.
I do.
Thank you. And yes, and actually I want more details on that comment. I want to know if you had video for that owner who didn't believe her dog was bad. that doodle that got sent home. I want to know if the owner got showed video of her dog being a douchatron.
That happens all the time. And that's why I have cameras all over my salon, is because we had cameras, but just in the front. And I had one little teeny camera set up in the back. And that little teeny camera saved my bacon. So, yeah. Video evidence is everything. It's everything. I mean, they're cheap. You got the Ring system, which is what I have. I have the whole thing. There's Wise cameras. There's so many options. And they're like They're not expensive, and it's in your best interest to really do that. Always.
All
Erin has a topic for next week, and it's going to tie into something that I really want to talk about, which is that time is a commodity. All right, and one of which you cannot produce more of. So utilizing your time efficiently. So the best you can do is save time. You can't make time. You can only waste time. So anyway, yeah, we're going to that's a good topic for next week. Okay, so good night, everybody. We'll see everybody next week.
good night, everybody.
Right.